Hello, this is Cool History 76. Today we're going to talk about communism and the Communist Manifesto. I have a copy of it right here. The best way to avoid repeating bad parts of history is to understand it. Now, I have a copy of the United States Constitution. This is a document that believes in liberty. This document teaches that men should be free. This document, however, the Communist Manifesto, teaches that men and women should be put into bondage, human bondage. So we want to avoid this, and the best way to avoid it is to understand the steps that take us to communism. Now, the Communist Manifesto was written in 1848 by Karl Marx with some help from Friedrich Engels. In 1917, of course, the most notable example of communism was the Soviet Union, the United Soviet Socialist Republics. Socialism, communism, basically the same thing. Of course, political scientists will debate exactly what constitutes communism versus socialism or whatever, but basically the concept is communism thinks the government should control your life. They should control your money and who has what and how to spend money. Whereas capitalism, or the American way, is a freedom. You have whatever you earn is yours. So let's talk about the 10 planks of communism. They might surprise you. So number 1 on our list is the abolition of property. Alright? I want to read to you from Roger Pilon, who was speaking to Congress, the 104th Congress, when he said this: "Uncompensated regulatory takings of private property have become an immense problem across the nation, as federal, state, and local regulations have increased in number and scope. Property owners have increasingly found themselves unable to use their property and unable to recover the losses that result." Okay, folks, we also have other issues. We have eminent domain, whether it's the government taking your land or the recent Supreme Court ruling that says that even rich people can take poor people's land for private development. These are attacks on private property. Even the concept that the government can tax real estate or tax private property, such as cars. These things are all attacks on America's belief in freedom of property ownership. So, the first plank of communism. Alright, number 2 is the graduated income tax. What does graduated mean? Okay, what that means is that instead of everybody paying the same amount, the rich pay more, right? And in the United States, the rich do pay more. They pay a much, much higher tax rate. And the idea of this is not to generate income or revenue for the state, but instead it's designed to help spread the wealth. Spread the wealth around, okay? And this is intended to help even the distribution of money in our society. So, no matter how hard you work or whether you deserve it or not, the graduated income tax is a communist concept that the United States uses. Number 3, the abolition of inheritance. Now, what we've done in the United States is we have what we call a death tax. The death tax is designed to rob people of their wealth after they die, so their children can't have it. And we have a tax like that. Now, it doesn't take all the money right now, but it's in that direction. Number 4, confiscation of property of immigrants and rebels. So if someone doesn't like the system and they try to escape communist Russia, and they immigrate away from the country, then their property would be seized by the state. Or a rebel, or someone who is considered the enemy of the state. Now, in the United States, we tend to have trouble with this one right here. The government can seize your property if you are suspected of being involved in certain types of crimes, such as drug-related issues, that sort of thing. And the problem is people have a hard time getting their stuff back, if ever. And they don't even have to have any drugs on them or prove that they had drugs. Just being suspicious, like having too much cash on hand, can cause the government to take your stuff. Number 5, A central bank, and as we call it in the United States, the Federal Reserve. Andrew Jackson had a war on the bank. In his day, he killed the bank. Why did he kill the Central Bank of the United States back in his day? Well, because he called it the monster. He said that it had too much power to control monetary policy. And so Andrew Jackson killed the bank in his day. Number 6. Centralizing the communication and transport of our country. When it comes to communications, we know that the federal government controls all communications through the FCC. And there are other things I'm not going to go into detail on, but they already have that. Now, as far as transport goes, ever heard of city buses and light rail? Now, where I live, the busing system, hardly anybody uses it, and yet we pump millions of dollars into this failing institution. I don't know why. Of course, it's because they want there to be a state-run transportation system. And also, when it comes to transportation, they're proposing a new, like a 10-cent sales tax on gas. They're constantly trying to make it harder and harder for you to have your own car. I know that in some socialist countries of Europe, such as Denmark, they have a huge tax on just purchasing a car to make it very prohibitive, so just private citizens like you won't be able to have a car. The higher the tax on gas, the higher the tax on the actual purchase, the more difficult it is for you to have transportation. I know the Obama administration has proposed taxing the miles you drive. So we got to watch these people. Okay, number 7. Nationalize industry. Well, folks, this is happening at an alarming rate. For instance, General Motors and Chrysler. Need I say more? Along with the banks. But even besides that, we have to consider regulations and taxation. If the government can regulate your business and take the profits, it's their business, even if it's technically not. Number 8. Equal liability to labor and industrial armies such as unions. Number 9. Combining the urban and rural. Going in this direction, according to the campaignforliberty.com, they say that the Planning Reorganization Act of 1949, as well as some other executive orders and the like, are taking us down the road toward combining the urban and the rural. When I look at it, I say, I see lots of corporate farms. And I see that the population of farmers has dwindled way down. We used to be a nation of rural people, but now only 2% of the people are farmers. So I see that we have corporate farms, is basically what communism had, and people are not farming the land like they used to. Alright, number 10. Number 10 is public school. Now, many people are very shocked and surprised to learn that in America we didn't used to have public schools. Think about it. What better way to indoctrinate and spread propaganda except through schools to the children? Children then believe whatever they're told by the state. And somehow that doesn't seem right. And Karl Marx knew that without public schools, you could not capture the mind of the youth. Leaders understand that you have to get to the children. And the best way to do that is through schools. And they must be government-run schools. So, we have the 10 planks of communism. And we've either started down the road or actually accomplished many of them in America today. It's kind of like we lost our liberty one little piece at a time. And one of these days, the iron fist is going to come and crush us unless we can find ways to educate our neighbors and elect better politicians. The kind of politicians that stand up for liberty, the American way, and the Constitution. Well, until next time, this is Cool History 76. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.